From the moment you were born, the world started feeding you a narrative. It told you to be patient, to wait your turn, to trust the system, to believe that somewhere out there, someone was working behind the scenes to make everything right for you. Maybe it was the government, maybe your parents, maybe a teacher, a leader, a company, or even fate itself. But it was always something or someone else. Never you, never your hands, never your discipline, your fight. They sold you a fantasy that life would eventually click into place if you just waited long enough. They made you believe that good things come to those who sit still and hope. But look around, really look. How many people do you see who waited and are still waiting? People who are 20, 30, 40, even 60 years old, and still living on the hope that something outside themselves will fix it all. That one day, the right opportunity will knock, the perfect person will enter, the magic solution will appear. And do you know what happens? Nothing. Nothing changes because they never made the decision to change it themselves. They never woke up. They never saw the lie, and I get it. I get why that lie is so attractive. Because it's easier to believe that someone will come save you than it is to accept that no one is coming. It's comforting to think you're not responsible for the mess you're in, that you're not the one who has to clean it up. It gives you permission to stay small, to stay passive, to keep blaming your situation on things you can't control. But that's not truth. That's a trap. That's slavery dressed up as safety. At some point, you have to open your eyes and look in the mirror and face the reality of your life. You are where you are because of the choices you've made and the ones you refuse to make. You're in this position not because you were weak, but because you were lied to. You were told to be good instead of strong. You were told to fit in instead of stand up. You were told to obey instead of build. And that lie cost you years. It cost you energy. It cost you the belief that your own two hands could shape your future. Now here's the truth. Nobody is coming. Not your friends, not your family, not your mentors, not your idols. No one is going to drag you out of the hole you're in. No one is going to fight your demons for you. No one is going to hand you a better life. They can cheer for you. They can give you advice. They can even inspire you. But they can't do it for you. And the longer you wait for a savior, the deeper you sink into the life you never wanted. This is your responsibility. This is your burden. But it's also your power. Because the same truth that makes this brutal is the truth that makes it beautiful. If no one is coming to save you, then it means you don't have to wait anymore. You don't have to ask for permission. You don't have to hope. You just have to move. You just have to take that step. You just have to make that decision. You are the one who can change it. You are the one who can take control. You are the one who can rewrite the story. So stop looking out the window and start looking in the mirror. The world isn't going to change for you, but you can change for the world. You don't need a rescue, you need a reason. And if you can find it, if you can hold it, if you can commit to it, then everything starts to shift. But only if you stop waiting, only if you wake up. No one is coming. It's on you now. The real enemy is comfort. That soft voice that whispers, take it easy. You've done enough. You can try again tomorrow. That warm blanket of excuses that keeps you just numb enough not to feel the weight of your wasted time. Comfort is the slow death. It's not the fire that burns you. It's the silence that puts you to sleep. We were not built for comfort. We were built to overcome. Every muscle in your body grows because of tension, resistance, discomfort. You don't get stronger sitting still. You grow by pushing, lifting, running into your limits, breaking them, and building again. The same applies to your mind, your spirit, your entire life. You only evolve when you lean into the discomfort, not when you hide from it. But the problem is, we've been trained to run from anything that makes us feel pain. We've built entire lives around minimizing struggle. We design routines that make sure we don't feel stress, systems that protect us from risk, devices that numb us from the truth. We scroll, we binge, we distract. Why? Because it's easier to stay comfortable than it is to confront the discomfort that comes with facing our own potential. It's easier to do nothing and feel safe than to do something and risk failure. And so we settle. We become people who tolerate mediocrity. We become people who dream at night and forget those dreams in the morning. We say things like one day and maybe later because it gives us an illusion of progress without having to suffer for it. But there is no growth in that. There is no glory in ease. The man who stays in the comfort zone stays small, predictable, fragile. But the one who steps out, the one who welcomes discomfort, he becomes dangerous. He becomes powerful. He becomes free. Comfort will offer you peace, but it will cost you purpose. It will keep you safe, but it will also keep you soft. And in a world that's growing harder by the day, softness is a liability. You need to be sharp. You need to be resilient. You need to be tested. The strongest steel is forged in the hottest fire. So if life is heating up, if the pressure is rising, if things feel heavy, good. That means you're being shaped. That means you're in the fire. Don't run from it. Lean into it. Let it mold you. The truth is, comfort feels good in the moment, but it kills long term. It kills your drive. It kills your energy. It kills your belief in what's possible. The person you're meant to become will never be found in the comfort zone. He exists on the other side of struggle, beyond the pain, beyond the discipline, beyond the daily fight. That person is real, but you will never meet him if you're always chasing what's easy. And look, I'm not saying it's wrong to rest. I'm not saying it's wrong to breathe, but rest is earned. Rest is part of the process, not the purpose. You rest so you can rise again stronger, not so you can retreat back into softness and never grow. You've got one shot at this life, and every second you spend choosing comfort over growth is a second stolen from your future self. So you have a choice. You can keep choosing comfort and stay exactly where you are, or you can choose discomfort and finally move forward. The road will be harder, yes, but it will be worth it. Because the pain of growth is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. Discomfort is not your punishment. It is your path. Walk it. Pain, the very word, makes people flinch. We avoid it. We run from it. We numb it, medicate it, drown it in distractions. From the moment something hurts, our instinct is to shut down, to protect ourselves, to escape. But what if I told you pain wasn't something to run from, but something to listen to? What if I told you pain isn't a punishment, but a signal? Think about it. Pain is how your body and your mind get your attention. It doesn't whisper, it screams. It shows up when something's off, when you're going the wrong way, when you're stuck, when you've neglected something too long. But we've been trained to silence it, as if ignoring it will make it go away. So instead of fixing the problem, we hide from it. And when you hide from pain, you miss the message. You lose the lesson. You delay the transformation. Pain doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to wake you up. When you're in pain, it means something needs to change. And if you're willing to listen, not just feel it, not just suffer through it, but actually listen, it becomes your greatest teacher. Some of the strongest people you will ever meet aren't the ones who had easy lives. They're the ones who were broken and rebuilt, shattered and stood again. They learned to speak the language of pain, and they used it to grow. The problem is we live in a world that worships comfort and ease. So any form of suffering feels like failure. But pain isn't failure, pain is feedback. When you're out of alignment with who you could be, pain is the tension pulling you back toward your potential. It tells you where to focus. It shows you what to fix. It exposes the gap between who you are and who you should be. And sometimes, it's the only thing strong enough to cut through your excuses. You don't change when life is easy. You change when it's hard. You don't become disciplined when everything is going your way. You become disciplined when you're tired, when you're overwhelmed, when you're in pain but you still choose to show up. That's when growth happens. That's when character is built. That's when you stop being a victim and start becoming a warrior. But here's what most people miss. Pain alone doesn't transform you. Pain just opens the door. You have to walk through it. You have to choose to engage with it, to study it, to face the thing it's pointing toward. Most people run from that moment. They want the growth, but not the grind. They want the breakthrough, but not the burden. But you can't have one without the other. You can't become someone new without letting something old die. And that death always hurts. So ask yourself, what pain are you avoiding right now? What truth are you refusing to face because it's too uncomfortable? What parts of yourself are screaming for attention while you distract yourself with meaningless noise? That's your work. That's the battlefield. That's the edge of your growth. When you start to understand pain, not as a curse, but as a compass, everything changes. You stop seeing obstacles as problems and start seeing them as invitations. You stop resenting struggle and start respecting it. Because you realize that every scar you earn becomes proof that you didn't quit, that you kept going, that you became more, so the next time pain shows up, and it will, don't run, don't hide, don't numb it. Sit with it. Ask it what it's trying to teach you. Let it sharpen you. Let it burn off the weakness. Let it turn you into someone unshakable. Because the pain you feel today is carving the strength you'll need tomorrow. Feel it, face it, use it. We live in a world obsessed with motivation. Everyone's chasing it. People wait for that perfect spark, that magical feeling to strike before they move. They scroll through videos, listen to music, read quotes, looking for something to wake them up and push them into action. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Motivation is a liar. It's fleeting. It comes when things are exciting, when the weather is good, when you're well, rested and everything feels right. But what happens when it doesn't show up? What happens when you're tired, when the day is heavy, when the fire is gone? That's when people stop, they slow down, they make excuses. They wait for motivation to return like it's some god they serve. But you can't build anything real if you're only working when you feel like it. You can't rely on motivation. Because the life you want, the transformation you're chasing, doesn't respond to feelings. It responds to action. It responds to consistency. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Discipline is what steps in when motivation walks out. It's quiet, it's unglamorous, it's not a viral quote. It's not a hype song. It's you doing the work day after day, whether you feel like it or not. People look for shortcuts. They think if they just find the right routine, the right mindset, the right morning ritual, success will become easy. But success is never easy. It's built in the dark, in the quiet, in the hours no one sees. You show up when you're exhausted. You show up when it's boring. You show up when everyone else has tapped out because it's raining or cold or inconvenient. That's discipline, that's the edge. That's what builds real power. Motivation is about how you feel. Discipline is about what you do regardless of how you feel. And the more you choose discipline, the more your mind begins to shift. You stop needing hype. You stop looking for reasons. You stop negotiating with yourself. You simply act. You build habits that turn into routines, and routines that turn into identity. And before you know it, you've become someone people admire. Not because you had talent, not because you had help, but because you showed up when it was hard. You kept going when it was uncomfortable. You kept building when it felt hopeless. That's what people don't understand. Discipline is a form of self-respect. It's saying, I value my goals more than my moods. It's saying, I'm willing to sacrifice now for who I can become later. And it's not a one-time choice. It's made every single day. You don't rise once, you rise every morning. You decide, again and again, that your vision matters more than your excuses. People ask for the secret to success, the secret to confidence, the secret to fulfillment. It's this: Do the hard thing, even when you don't want to. That's where it lives. That's where the strength is. You want to feel proud of yourself, earn it. You want to believe in yourself. Prove it. Every time you honor your discipline, you stack another brick in the foundation of who you are becoming. That's how you build a life worth living. No one is going to do it for you. No one is going to carry you through the hard days. That's your job, your fight, your discipline. And once you start to understand that, you stop waiting. You stop hoping. You just start. You build the muscle of showing up, and eventually, it doesn't matter what the day throws at you. You move anyway. You rise anyway. You execute anyway. Discipline is the difference between wanting something and becoming someone. Choose it. You keep looking around, waiting for someone to show up and make sense of your life. Waiting for someone to fix it, to guide you, to give you the answers. You hold on to this quiet belief that someone out there is going to see your potential, take you by the hand and lead you to greatness. But that belief is a trap. That belief is the reason you're stuck. You are the hero you've been waiting for. Not someone else, not some savior, not some expert, not some miracle. It's always been you. The problem is, you don't believe it yet. And I get it, the world has convinced you otherwise. It taught you to follow, not lead, to seek approval instead of purpose, to wait until you're ready, until you're certain, until everything lines up. But life doesn't reward the ones who wait. It rewards the ones who act. The ones who move forward with fear in their chest and doubt in their mind, but action in their hands. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start acting like you matter. Like your decisions carry weight. Because they do. You've got this picture in your head of the person you could be: stronger, sharper, more focused, more capable. But that version of you isn't going to magically appear. It's buried under the layers of fear, comfort, laziness, and excuses. And the only way to bring it out is to fight for it. You become that person by doing the things that version of you would do. You lead yourself. You stop waiting for confidence, and you build it through action. You stop asking for clarity, and you earn it by stepping into chaos and figuring it out. We live in a time where people have all the information they need, but still feel powerless. Not because they don't know what to do, but because they don't believe they can do it. They're stuck in the mindset of dependency. They want someone else to tell them they're good enough, smart enough, talented enough. But the truth is, no one can give you what you refuse to give yourself. You have to believe not in some fantasy version of yourself, but in your ability to become something greater than who you are today. Leadership isn't about titles or recognition. It's about taking responsibility. It's about owning your failures, your decisions, your progress. You lead when you wake up and decide that today won't control you. You'll control it. You lead when you stop blaming your past, your parents, your circumstances, and start building anyway. That's what heroes do. They don't wait, they don't beg, they create, they suffer, they rise. You are not exempt from this. You're not the exception, you're the one. And when you finally understand that, something inside you shifts. You stop playing small. You stop shrinking yourself. You stop thinking you're not enough, and you start becoming more. You take the hits, and you keep moving. You hear the voice that says you can't, and you walk forward anyway. You make a decision, not just once, but daily, to carry your own weight, to be the force that drives your life. There is no one coming. That's not bad news. That's power. Because now nothing is stopping you. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You don't need the perfect moment. You just need to show up for yourself. You need to step into the role of your own leader. That's how change begins, not with a speech, not with inspiration, but with responsibility. Stop waiting for someone else to fix it. You're already here, and you are enough to begin. You act like you have time, like you can push things off another day, another week, another year. You tell yourself you'll start when the timing's better, when you feel more prepared, when things calm down. But the truth is, you don't know how much time you have left. None of us do. And every second you waste pretending you're guaranteed tomorrow is a second you'll never get back. That's the lie most people live with. They think they're safe. They think the clock isn't ticking, but it is. It's always ticking, and it's not slowing down just because you are. We're all walking a line between life and death, and most people walk it asleep. They act like life is this endless trial run, like they'll always get another shot. So they waste time, they waste energy, they waste opportunity. They scroll when they should be building. They complain when they should be creating. They sit in comfort while their dreams rot in the corner. And then they look back years later, full of regret, full of what-ifs, wondering where the time went. But deep down, they already know. It went into the distractions, the excuses, the fears they never faced. You think you'll have time to make things right. But what if you don't? What if the chance you have right now is the only one you'll ever get? What if this moment, this very day, is the day that determines who you become? Or who you never become? How many people go to sleep thinking, I'll change tomorrow, and never wake up? That's not drama, that's reality. Life doesn't ask you if you're ready. It just moves. And if you're not moving with it, you're falling behind. Stop playing with your life like it's a game that resets. This isn't a video you can pause. This isn't a story where the ending's already written. You're writing it right now, in the choices you make, in the hours you waste, in the actions you avoid. Every time you decide to stay in bed when you should be working. Every time you put off what matters. Every time you say not yet. You're making a choice, and that choice is shaping your future. You're either building something real, or you're tearing it down. And here's the brutal part. Life doesn't care about your intentions. It doesn't care what you meant to do. It doesn't care that you had potential. It only cares about what you did. That's it. So stop telling yourself that you're going to do it later. Later isn't promised. Later is the enemy. It's a slow death, one delay at a time. And by the time you realize how much it's cost you, it might already be too late. People think urgency is panic. It's not. Urgency is clarity. It's understanding that time is your most limited resource, and once it's gone, you can't buy it back. You can earn more money. You can rebuild your body. You can restart your career. But you cannot recover the time you waste. And if that doesn't shake you, it should. You keep waiting for the right moment, but there is no right moment. There's only now, and what you do with now decides everything. The path you want, the life you talk about, the future you crave, it starts today. Not someday, not when you're ready, not when things feel easier today. So make the call, take the step. Start the work, not because it's the perfect time, but because it might be the only time. Live like your life depends on it, because it does.